to a special edition of the Mimi Jaha Show.
Khadija!
I didn't know I was mutilated as a baby until I was 15. My clitoris was cut off when I was a week old, and this is something that happens to nearly all the girls in the Gambia. It's called female genital mutilation. When I was 15, I was brought to America to marry an older man. When he tried to have sex with me, that's when I realized what female genital mutilation was, and that's when my horror started.
La, 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 la,
When Khadija was born, I knew that I could never let this happen to her. I knew that I had to do something to stop it. Most of the girls and women you see on the streets have been cut. Their clitoris was cut off or worse. This has been going on for thousands of years. I've come home to try and do something to end it. Even if that means taking on my family, my tribe, and the whole of Gambia.
Was not to get attention for myself, was so people can know that this is an issue that's happening here in the United States as well as in Africa, and that this wasn't some foreign issue that we shouldn't care about, but it's a global human rights issue. And since Patrick is the filmmaker and Maggie O'Kane, who's also here, we are having, I know that we are going to an after party right after here to talk about the distribution of the film if anyone is interested. But is these two guys that know about what the distribution is?
You know, as I think somebody said at the beginning, this is actually our first screening in North America, so we're very happy about that. But, you know, the film will begin a film festival journey, and after that, I'm not really quite sure what's going to happen to it. It depends on how it's received. At another level, though, I think that, you know, it's probably going to tour colleges in the United States, and we're also looking at other elements of distribution after, you know, a regular commercial one. But I think for us, what's most important, it's actually going to be shown on a number of television networks in Europe. It's already being bought. It'll be seen in a number of countries. But for us, actually, what's probably, all of those things are really important. But for us, I think getting this film across sub-Saharan Africa in particular, and into those countries where F.G.M is prevalent, that really is the thing that we're most excited about, and is also the greatest challenge. And we're already at the planning stages of actually making that happen. I mean, Jaha mentioned that one of the things that she's doing is that she has she just bought a van in Germany with a grant from the Human Dignity Foundation, and that's going to start touring the film around villages in the Gambia, and I think that that's going to be a really interesting exercise. But that's going to be
wonderful work. Sometimes, well, I'm fasting, but at some point I was watching this movie just like if it was happening in real life, and I was saying to myself, this girl is crazy. You know? But I also remember the words of Amadou Ampateba, one of the great men of Africa, saying that pour participer à l'élaboration du monde nouveau, il faut accepter le titre de fou. If you want to participate in building a new order, you should accept the title of being crazy. You should accept being called crazy. But we've seen how tactful Jaha was and in dealing with this very sensitive issue. And I can tell you, the girl has more credit when you know her community. It's one of the most conservative communities in the Gambia. So Jaha, kudos and bravo, and keep up the excellent work. We are proud of you. Thank you.
You plan to kind of bridge that information, sharing that information with girls and women so that they can get a clear understanding as to why it is not necessary for F.G.M to continue.
A little bit about the future of that and plans for more active collaboration across countries. Thank you.
And also very result-oriented, as you have done you managed to change the policy in the Gambia. I think this work really we should end. But connectivity among the actors is very important. So this is my contribution. And thank you. My name is Tete. Show this now. Thank you.
About why we are in that community and what we are doing and having debate. And that's another way we publicize the screening at night. Because the plan is to use the bus to screen the film at night. But during the day, we are going to be having activities and we are going to be using the video so that people in the community know that we are there. And if you see a print bus, what this print bus is about, where we are going to be at night, so that you can come watch the film and have a conversation about F.G.M and child marriage.
Generosity of opening up your life to public gaze is quite a remarkable thing to do. And I see also from the film that what you like to do when something good is happening is that you high five. So perhaps we end this evening, Jaha, with a high five.
Just to have her on the show today means the world to me. Welcome on the show, Jaha.
Thank you, thank you.
Let me tell you, it's just so inspiring as young as you are and all that you're doing for the Gambia. It's just very humbling. For the viewers that are watching the show don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Jaha and I'm originally from the Gambia. I am 27 and I run a non-profit organization called Safe Hands for Girls. Mm-hmm. We are a survival-led Office of Female Genital Mutilation as well as child marriage. And we do a lot of work here in the U.S. on advocacy, but we also do a lot of work in the Gambia on the ground with young people and in community. I'm very, very excited and humbled to be on your show and to get to talk about my work. You yourself being a Gambian and such an inspiration to me as well as a lot of Gambians. So I'm very
You're gonna make me get into very emotional things right now because it's just so humbling coming from someone like yourself. Jaha, talk to me. The F.G.M. You fought.
Yeah.
You fought.
Yeah.
You fought tirelessly.
Yeah.
Why was it so important to you that the practice is no longer being practiced in the Gambia?
I mean, I think to me it's about my own struggles and my own pain, and I realized that the only way we're going to have change is by us talking about these issues ourselves. We can't expect outsiders to come and fix our own problems. It's very, very important as us, as young African women, to be able to confront our issues head on, lead on them. When you have people talking about our issues, it's important that we are on those tables making those decisions along with policymakers, not them making the decisions about our lives. So for me, it was about putting myself out there, putting my story out there as hard as it was, and sort of exposing myself, which has come at a personal cost for me, but I don't regret any of it, and I'm very, very excited I did that because 200 million women are living with F.G.M. globally. Every day, 6,000 girls are being cut. And it's our responsibility as human beings to make sure that this practice ends.
It's very inspiring, and as young as you are, when did it dawn to you that you really wanted to be an advocacy for this, and why?
I think to me it was when I had my daughter. I realized that I can't allow this to happen to my daughter, but I also knew that in saving my daughter, what about the millions of girls around the world that continue to go through this practice? So it was about Khadija, but it was about all the Khadijas out there.
Wow, it's just beautiful. Just knowing that, you did it, your daughter inspired you.
Yeah.
So being a mother, it's very important to
Absolutely.
you as well. Jaha, talk to me about the documentary. Let's talk about the documentary.
So the documentary was made by The Guardian and an award-winning filmmaker called Patrick Furley. And the documentary has followed me for 3 years, and it captures my journey from the Gambia to the United States and back in the Gambia and the work that I'm doing. It's an amazing film that, not only portrays me, but we're doing to achieve change in our community. It shows the potential in our Gambia. It shows how passionate we are as a community and what we're doing, and that's what really, really excites me about this film. Because now Gambia has been looked at as a template for other countries in Africa. We are looked at as an example in a positive way, which is really, really amazing. So I'm very grateful.
You had a huge successful premiere here in New York, in the United Nations. Which is the biggest deal ever. For a young woman from the Gambia. You're probably the first Gambian that had such a huge premiere in the United Nations. How does that make you feel?
It's a good feeling. I mean, not being the first, but just being Gambian in general, and being able to represent my country, being able to stand at places where I can proudly say I am from the Gambia, and this is about my country, it's about my people, it's my identity. So it's very humbling to represent Gambia in a good way.
I tell you, watching the documentary, if you guys haven't done so by now, I'm sure we'll show you the clips as we're going, but it was just very powerful, and it gives me goosebumps. I cried through.
Thank you.
I laughed. And it was just very entertaining, at the same time very, very knowledgeable, and at the same time it just teaches us a lot of things about you as a person. Tell me about that experience. How was it like first time doing camera? Because I know you not so camera person with your personality. But how was it like, the cameras following you?
Oh, God.
How was the experience like?
It was, God. I struggle with that. The cameras. To this day, it was hard putting yourself out there, talking about yourself, exposing yourself. It was hard.
What was the hardest part? Was it talking about yourself, or?
I think all of it was very hard for me. Having cameras follow me around the street, and I'm very self-conscious, and so just all of it was difficult. And my family, and bringing strangers into our homes, and exposing my children, and all of it. It felt like I was naked, and the whole world was watching me.
Well, I gotta tell you, you did such a great job.
Thank you.
I mean, just watching you from your documentary and sitting down watching. It's like sometimes when I look at you, it's like I get teary eyes.
Yeah.
Just from the passion that I got from you from watching the documentary. And watching the documentary, you mentioned something there which was very It's very heartfelt.
Yeah.
And you cried when you mentioned that. You said you felt sometimes you felt like you are always gone, that you're not being a good mother to your kids.
Yeah.
Why was that so emotional for you?
I'm a mom, and being a mother is my most important job. My children need me more than anything else in this world. And I don't ever want them to grow up to feel like I was absent in their life. I want to make a difference in this world, and I want to change. But my children also need me. And it's hard for me. And I think a lot of times people don't know that. They think I enjoy. I mean, I do love what I do, don't get me wrong. But it's not something you enjoy, especially when you're a mother, when you're a wife. You're gone all the time. It's a sacrifice that I'm making. And sometimes it's hard for people to understand that. Because when people see me from the outside, they see the glamour, they see the beauty. They don't know that I'm a real person with a real life, with children.
And that's what Documentary showed me. Because honestly, I came in there with the same perspective of you. Like, you know, Jaha, you know, a brand ambassador figure. But when I watched the documentary, I saw how vulnerable you were. And I saw how you put your whole life out there. And I saw your kids. I mean, I was so emotional. I was so emotional just knowing that a woman like yourself, you know, 3 kids. And you're doing all this, and you're not shortchanging none of them. You take them everywhere you go. Even when you're here, you're here with your kids. Wow.
I mean, to me, that's what it is about, my identity and who I am. Like, I'm a real Gambian woman. You see our mothers and what they do. They wake up early in the morning, put their pennies on their head, go to the market, buy stuff. You go to the villages, they're going, getting water. That's what we do. It's in our blood. It's in our DNA. So I can't leave my children. It's what I do. I mean, it's not new to me. It's where I'm from. That's how women are.
Oh, it's cool. We're superwoman, you know, hard-working women. You know, talk to me about the Gambian audience. You know, getting this film. You know, how are they receiving you as a person and what you've been doing for us? Because this is you, not just you being selfish. You're doing it for the whole entire Gambia, generations to come, and you did it.
I mean, I think for the Gambian community, I mean, I would be very dishonest if I said they were not supportive. The Gambian audience has been very, very supportive from the time that I started. A lot of them signed my Change.org petition. A lot of them have been there. The Gambian government, both the previous government and this current government, have also been very, very good allies of my work and good supporters of my work. I think for me, the biggest struggle that I have is the people that are involved in the women's movement in the Gambia. They are the ones that chose to see me as a competition rather than someone to work with, rather than an ally. And it's a challenge because those are the same people that feel the need to somewhat bully me on social media or somewhat harass me on social media. And
What's
them,
the hardest thing they've said to you that you?
I mean, it's just a lot of petty negativity, but what? It's not. And the only reason why I'm mentioning this is I want young people to understand that we need to stop seeing each other as competition. As young women, we need to support one another regardless of our disagreement. And for us, we are setting a really, really bad example to future generations where we are telling them as women, we need to continue being in these cat fights and we need to be against each other rather than supporting one another. I have my strengths and I have my weaknesses. And the people that want to continue bullying me on social media, they have their strengths, they have their weaknesses. And there's a lot of value in us coming together and trying to figure out a way forward for our country, for our future, for our children, rather than focusing on tearing one another apart. And for me, I didn't put myself out here. I didn't do any of this for myself. God did all of this for me. Even if I didn't want this, it was destined for me to do what I do. So regardless of what anyone thinks of me, regardless of how anyone feels about me, this is where I was supposed to be, and this is where I'm going to be, and I'm going to continue being here. When that day comes when God decides to take it all away, I'm okay with that. I'm very, very content with that. Because at the end of the day, I'm not stuck with power. I'm not stuck with fame. None of this is, you know, I was a person before all of this. I had a life, I had a career, and I will always have that. So to me, this is my passion. It's what I do.
I mean, it's so humble.
Yeah.
You know, you talk with so much grace and passion. And I also know you met the former president, Barack Obama.
Yes.
country. Tell me, how was that experience like? Meeting the president of the United States, the sitting president at the time.
I know. So the last year President Obama was in office, I met him 3 times.
Wow.
And it was so amazing. I mean,
so you met him 3 times?
Yes. In his last few months in office, I met him 3 times.
Wow.
I remember the second time that I met him, it was at a Global Development Summit that he did. And when he came to shake my hand, I was just there like shaking, like, and he just busted out laughing. And it was the cutest and most, I would never forget that experience. It's one of the things that I remember most about President Obama, and for him to be the first black president of this country, and for me being from the Gambia, the smallest country in mainland Africa, being born in Gambia for that matter, coming from a village in URR to meeting the President of America, sharing the same stage with the President of America, to all the things that have happened, me being named as one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people in the world with President Obama. I mean, it's just, to me, it shows the power in our voice and what we can accomplish. So, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow, Jaha. Wow. Wow, Jaha. So inspiring.
Thank you.
As young as you are, you're 27 years old. You've accomplished something that people want their whole life to accomplish. And talk to me about, now that you have the documentary for the F.G.M, and then now that you successfully are the reason why it's no longer practiced in Gambia, where can we see Jaha from here with the F.G.M?
I mean, I think I'll continue working in the Gambia. I'll continue working all over Africa. You'll continue hearing my voice. If it's an issue that affects young girls, you would hear me.
Amen.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself like an alpha, a go-getter?
I am. Oh my God, yes. I am. I'm a crazy alpha go-getter.
Yes.
I'm a hustler.
Yes.
Yes.
Team Alpha.
Thank you.
Sorry, Jaha.
No.
Let's wrap this up, Jaha. For the people that are watching the show out there, the young Gambians, and of course Africa as a whole, what message do you have for them?
Believe in yourself. Don't allow anyone to tell you no. At the end of the day, you are your biggest supporter. And for the young women that are out there, be your sister's keeper. Hold each other, support each other, and know that you're the only one, especially in us in Africa. For years, we've been turned against each other. Right now, we need to find a way of working one another and supporting one another. It's very, very important. Us being out on social media and talking about one another and trying to bring another person down is not the way to go. Thank you, Mimi.
Thank you so much. It's so humbling. And thank you so much for giving us this time of the day that you had. It's just very humbling. Thank you so much for being on the show. Well, that brings us to the end of our segment for today. I am Mimi Sister Janha, and that's my sister
Jaha Dukureh.
All right, Jaha Dukureh. And also, where can they find the information for your organization?
Safehandsforgirls.org. And if you want to reach out, you can send us an email at info@safehandsforgirls.org.
Thank you so much, Jaha.
Thank you.
It was such a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much. Until then, I'll see you all soon.